Hey guys, welcome back to Magyar Arcade. Today we have another music countdown for you. We're going to be talking about the band Failure. I know a lot of you guys probably haven't heard of them, so here's a quick rundown. Failure is an alternative rock band formed in 1990 in, you guessed it, LA. The original lineup consisted of current members and principal songwriters Ken Andrews and Greg Edwards, along with then drummer Robert Goss. However, he would later leave the band and be replaced by current drummer Kelly Scott. Toward the end of their initial run, they would recruit additional guitarist Troy Van Leeuwen to make the band a quartet. However, in 1997, the band would break up and ultimately reunite 16 years later in 2003, without Troy, making them once again a trio. Their sound has been labeled the likes of space rock, post-grunge, noise rock, and alternative respectively. They may never have broken into the mainstream, but were highly influential in a lot of today's artists, most notably Paramore, Cave In, and A Perfect Circle, who each covered one of their songs. So in a way, Failure is one of those bands that are one of the unsung heroes of music. But anyways, let's get to the countdown. Starting off at our bottom spot at number 6 is The Heart is a Monster. Released in 2015, it was Failure's first album in 19 years since reuniting, and after that long, a band is understandably going to sound very different and have plenty of kinks to work out. But don't get me wrong, there's a lot to like on this album, especially when getting accustomed to it. Atom City Queen, Petting the Carpet, Fairlight Era, Come Crashing, Otherwhere, and I Can See Houses are all good tracks, but unfortunately I don't care much for the rest of the album. The band sounds like a cross between Queens of the Stone Age and Interpol while suffering from way too much filler. So yeah, The Heart is a Monster, not a bad album, just not my cup of tea, 3 out of 5. At number 5, appropriately enough, is Failure's 5th studio album, In the Future, Your Body Will Be the Furthest Thing from Your Mind. Jeez, what a mouthful.
That's what she said!
Anyways, the band did something really cool and unique by releasing this album in the form of 4 EPs, eventually to make a full LP. Released throughout 2018, it's heavily flawed like their previous record, however, it's a big step in the right direction. Pennies, No One Left, What Makes It Easy, Distorted Fields, and Another Posthuman Dream are all great songs, with Heavy and Blind and Apocalypse Blooms being 2 of my favorite Failure songs. The Pinnacle Electorate is probably my favorite closer on a Failure album, and even the other songs that I wouldn't normally care for offer something strong beneath the surface. So yeah, In the Future, as I'll call it for short, is flawed but still a good album, 3 out of 5. At number 4 we have Comfort. Failure's debut album, released in 1992, was a great album. However, the band had yet to mature and really find their identity, but regardless, this album doesn't have a single bad song on it. Submission really grabs you by the ass and sets the tone going forward. Something and Muffled Snaps are both sure to give you goosebumps on the first listen, while Pro Catastrophe best represents the album and a taste of what's to come in the future. Salt Wounds is a great closer and just leaves you wanting more, as the album is fairly short, clocking in at just over 37 minutes, but again, great debut, 4 out of 5. At number 3 we have Wild Type Droid, Failure's most recent album, released just last year in 2021. After reuniting and putting out 2 albums that were rough around the edges, Failure has finally worked out all the kinks and once again become the band that they were at the height of their prime. Water with Hands and Headstand are an incredible 1-2 punch to get you hooked. After some filler, we get treated to banger after banger in the forms of Submarines, Bring Back the Sound, Mercury Mouth, Undecided, and Long Division. The album loses steam towards the end, but after hearing what was a tough act to follow, it's understandable. Wild Type Droid is easily the band's best album in over 25 years, 4 out of 5. At number 2 we have Magnified, Failure's second studio album, released in 1994, and my personal favorite Failure record. Opening for Tool on their tour that year really created a buzz for the band. As for the record, I like every song on here. Frogs and Bernie are both great songs. The title track Magnified was good enough to be covered by Cave In. Wonderful Life is infectious. Undone is hands down my favorite Failure song. Wet Gravity and Empty Friends are both incredible, and Small Crimes is such a good closer. Magnified isn't quite perfect like our number 1 pick, but it's still amazing, 4 out of 5. And finally, our number 1 pick is, you guessed it, Fantastic Planet. The masterpiece of an album that is synonymous with the band and inspired so many of today's newer acts. It may never have gotten the mainstream recognition it rightfully deserves, but its legacy still speaks volumes. Right from the get-go, you'll instantly fall in love with it and start singing along to the chorus of opening track Saturday Savior, only to be blown away by the counterattack of Sergeant Politeness. Pillowhead and Blank are both great tracks. Solaris, Pitiful, and Leo are all instant classics. However, the spotlight really shines on both The Nurse Who Loved Me and Stuck on You, which are two of the band's most iconic songs. This record is so special not only to the fans, but to the band as well, to the point where in 2016 they did a tour commemorating its 20th anniversary and performed the album in its entirety each night. So yeah, Fantastic Planet, a benchmark that will never be topped. 5 out of 5. Well guys, that's all of Failure's studio albums so far. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you next time.